Well, you know how I always say this is going to be a short video, and I'm always lying about that? Well, I'm not going to lie anymore. This is not going to be a short video, so stick around. So, this is literally the third time I'm trying to film this over the course of 2 weeks, mind you, because I'm still in burnout and my brain is still just jacked up. I'm going to try and hope that this time everything's going to turn out fine. And I wanted to talk some more about the burnout that I'm going through because it's just a phenomenon like I've never noticed before. And something really interesting about burnout is realizing that I probably have gone through burnout before throughout my career and everything like that. I just didn't know what it was. And I didn't know how to explain it because how do you explain when you think you're losing your mind? Like, what do you say? Oh, sorry I popped off like that. I'm losing my mind right now. Yeah, like that's going to work. So, one of the top things I've been noticing about my burnout is just the sheer exhaustion of it all. And, I'm going to say to me, autistic burnout has to feel different. And I think if you're experiencing like regular burnout, you might know it's because, oh, I've been working too many hours, or, there's a lot going on, or, there's a lot of life that's happening. You can put something to it. And it's so interesting. When I've had burnouts in the past, I never could put my finger on it because nothing to me had seemed to change. Of course, I didn't know I was autistic, and I didn't realize that sensory sensitivities literally drive my world, and social and communication deficits. You work so hard to just try to grasp conversations and to grasp the things that you're supposed to be doing or the way you're supposed to be behaving, that it's literally exhausting. It's like if you were on stage and you were acting to the utmost, loudest, most, animated voice, ever. And then you do that for 60 years. I'm exhausted because that's exactly what it's been feeling like. And I've got some ideas on how I'm going to get through it, and I hope they work. And if they don't work, I'm okay with that because I like experimenting and trying new things. What I'm going to do today, I don't know how long I'm going to be on camera today. It depends because I've got some things I want to cover, and I made notes again. And I've had my hair up for 2 weeks, and it looks really good, you guys. Last time I used the Blue Magic hair grease, chef's kiss. I went back old school, and I pulled out the Blue Magic hair grease. And another reason I love it, and the other reason I bought it, because it's so nostalgic and it reminds me, of my mom, and she was awesome. She's a little bit, quirky and eccentric herself, but she was charming and she was amazing. And this reminds me of her. And then another Nature's Little Secret product that I love is the banana. What's this called? Banana leave-in conditioner. I'm going to be using that, using up my stash, and then I'm going to also be using up my Inner Sense I Create Hold. One of those really expensive purchases I made, on an impulse. It was really expensive. I lost my mind. I'll never do it again, but I do like it. So I'm going to be using this as well too. And then probably, twisting my hair up and, leaving it alone for probably another 2 weeks. And so those are the products I'm going to be using in my hair. And today I'm with my Yeti. I'm using my favorite cup, and I've got flavored coffee in here with a little bit of Bustelo, and I've got 1 pat of butter and a little bit of MCT oil in here. This is my bulletproof coffee for today, and this is my lunch. So, one of the things that I'm really noticing about this particular burnout is just the sheer exhaustion of everything. I don't sleep well, and I usually have, insomnia, but lately I'm sleeping like I don't know, 6, 7 hours at night, which is ridiculous. And then I get up and I do my little morning routine with my dogs and everything like that, and do all my regular stuff. And then I go back to bed. I usually get up around 6:30. Then I go back to bed around 7:30, and then sleep until like 10:30, and then take at least a nap between like I don't know 2 and 4. It's just ridiculous. I can't even describe. I can't even tell you what's going on with me. It's the weirdest thing, and I'm struggling to just do simple things. So if you're going through what you believe might be an autistic burnout, and you're like, why can't I brush my teeth and wash my face? When you figure that out, let me know, because it's been a struggle. And that's with me on my medication. When I remember to take my Adderall, like I remember to take it today, but my brain is still like fried, and I'm still like super tired. The only thing that it has done for me is it gave me enough mwah, to be able to wash my face and brush my teeth. And I'm grateful for that. I'm all about the little wins, and to me that's a little win, and a little win is a big win. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I'm talking about having problems just doing regular routine things, washing my face and brushing my teeth, when breathing is hard. And I noticed that I'm breathing even more shallow than usual, and just very, I'm not, I'm not breathing. I don't feel like I'm getting enough oxygen in my body or in my brain. And now that I'm saying that out loud, that's probably another reason why we're so exhausted when we're in autistic burnout, because we're breathing so shallow. Maybe we're not breathing deep enough to get that oxygen flowing and everything like that. Note to self, I'm going to remember that. That's a good theory. I've been really trying to remember, as I'm experiencing this new feeling of autistic burnout. I'm keeping notes, actually, so I can recognize it the next time it comes up, because it will come up. I'm going to be cycling in and out of this for years, you guys, cleaning my brain out. I need to clean my brain. And another thing that I'm noticing is just a basic loss of basic skill sets, like remembering things, being able to construct a sentence from start to finish, being able to make important phone calls, those sorts of things. Forgetting how to do simple recipes that I've done for years. And then all of a sudden my brain is blank. What is that phenomenon? I don't know. It's been really hard even creating things. I'm sitting here and I'm writing out a whole list of things. I'm reviewing my whole life. I'm going back, and back as far as I can, and as far as I can remember, taking notes about things that have a whole new, different perspective now, you guys. And so that's been interesting. But I'm even struggling with that. Simple things like I'll like write the word the. Why does it look wrong? Why does the word the look wrong? I know it's not wrong, but my brain's not registering that it's correct. I'm doing things like that. I feel crazy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I feel disconnected from my brain, literally disconnected. Daily routines have been hard, just the basic routines that I do in the morning. Feed the dogs, let the dogs out, feed the dogs, make coffee, make my coffee, my morning routine, which no, does not include washing my face and brushing my teeth, which is weird, I know. Even feeding myself has gotten hard, which is why I've moved myself to bulletproof coffee, because the fat from the butter and the MCT oil and the flavor of the coffee gets me through to about 3 or 4 o'clock, when my brain registers, oh, okay, I think maybe I have enough energy to chew. Because, yeah, it's like that. You know what I've decided is really interesting, and I need to get busy on this, because I'm just sitting here running my mouth and not do my hair. The losing skill thing, I'm going to give you an analogy. And it's going to sound weird, but stick with me. So, my ADHD side, my right brain creative side, ADHD, I don't know if I've talked about her here, but I've talked about her on TikTok. She's Dee Dee, and Dee Dee has ADHD. Dee Dee has problems with executive functioning and being impulsive and all of those sorts of things. And then on my left brain side, my logical side, my black and white side, that's Lizzie for Autism Lizzie. And she has her own set of things that she's working with. And both sides are in direct conflict with each other, leaving me in the middle by myself. So this is what burnout felt to me at work. I would be, when I used to work, I would be working, and it would be like I would forget how to just do something simple. And then so, I'm looking through my notes and trying to figure out, how do I do this thing that I've done for months? You know what I mean? And it's almost like Lizzie and Dee Dee were in here somewhere laughing at me. They're like, this bitch here, she don't even know we exist. So we're not helping you. We're just going to sit back and watch the carnage unfold because you've been masking us, you've been covering us up, you've been pretending like we don't exist. And maybe we're being a little harsh with you, Random Grannie. Maybe you just didn't know about us, and we can deal with that. But now that you know about us, now you can go back and look and see why we did the things we did. Because literally, you guys, it felt like they were just, now that I know and I look back, I'm like, they were making fun of me. They were sitting back, watching the carnage unfold, waiting for me to realize someday that they existed. And now that I know they exist, they're quite sweet. But I'm not going to lie, they they were sitting back and just watching the carnage unfold. Those times at work when I would just explode out of nowhere. I thought it was out of nowhere. I was overstimulated. Now I get it. But I would explode out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, it was like whoever that person was that was just exploding left and then left me standing there. Like I'm the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy, but I look like it. Oh, you guys, some of the things I did and some of the things I said to people. If you're one of those people and you found me and you're watching this, I'm sorry. I didn't know who I was. I still don't know who I am, but I'm figuring it out. Oh, there's that. But I literally didn't know. And that's also a part of the burnout. Once I took that mask off, no, excuse me, I didn't take the mask off. It had been on me for so long and it was so tight that it just rusted and cracked and fell off. And then I don't have the pieces to put back together to put the mask back on. You understand what I'm saying? And so now here I am, left to live with myself. I'm living with myself, and these other two, wenches, Dee Dee and Lizzie, and trying to, live in cohesion and everything like that. And so it's just been a real struggle for me. I'm not gonna lie. And looking back and trying to figure out where I come from and everything like that. And talking with a new cousin that I found, and then finding out that she is also autistic, and so was her father. My first cousin was also very autistic and would also have panic attacks and meltdowns and shutdowns in the grocery store. That made me feel so good because I'm like, I'm not I'm not alone. You guys, I swear, the sensitivities are off the chain. I'm going to be talking about that next too. I have to wear the wristbands now because the new water bottle I use is in a mister, and so it runs water down my arms, which I can't stand. And I've literally owned this shirt for over 20 years, you guys. It's driving me insane. There's a tag back here. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Had to cut the tags off. Literally, literally, I've had this shirt for 20 years. I don't understand what's going on. But next on my list of things to talk about, regulating my emotions. You guys, my emotions are off the chart. I mean, I am experiencing meltdowns out of nowhere. And that's what started this whole thing was when I had a meltdown over food a couple of months ago. And I was like, where did this come from? I mean, I knew I was like, particular, but I don't remember experiencing anything like that. My husband says he does, but I don't. I remember that one. I've been experiencing, more meltdowns. I've been experiencing just shutting down, just like I'm done. You know, I could be working on something, I'm done, and then I'll just go take a nap. Or, I'm trying to figure out something that might be a little bit difficult. I'm done. I'm not doing that. And then I would just shut down. And so I've been experiencing more meltdowns. I've been experiencing more shutdowns. I've been experiencing bouts of not speaking. And it's so interesting now that I know where that even comes from, because me and my husband would get into these discussions, and then I would just like shut down and just stop talking. And he would get so mad at me, and he'd be like, "Oh, are you going to have an attitude now and, give me the silent treatment?" And I'm like, I'm not giving you the silent treatment. That would be rude. Not rude. But I couldn't explain it. No, I wasn't talking to him, but I wasn't talking at all. Sometimes a day, sometimes 2, 3 days, sometimes closer to a week, because I would I understand a little bit. I would become so overwhelmed at the conversation of constantly misunderstanding what somebody is telling me or what he's saying, misunderstanding instructions or what I was told to do, or misunderstanding the whole concept of a conversation and then being looked like an asshole or the bad guy. And then I just shut down and I can't speak. It's not that I'm giving the silent treatment. I literally can't speak because I don't know what to say or how to say it, what tone I should say it in, what's the best words to use. I want to make sure I don't piss them off, but how do I know I'm going to piss them off if I don't think or know I'm pissing them off? I don't want to offend anybody, but how do I know if I'm being offending or not? I don't know. It's all too much. So I just like zip it until I can bring myself back up into the world and then move forward from there. So that's been going on too. The other thing I'm noticing, since I've been paying a lot of attention, is my sensory sensitivities, my sensory issues are off the charts, you guys. Just like right now when I had to stop and cut that tag out of my shirt, I'm literally things that I've worn for like 20 years. My favorite things. Now I know why they're my favorite things, you guys. Knowing that I'm autistic is so interesting to me right now. My God, there's so many different variables. But now understanding why I always had, favorite clothes and those sorts of things, or certain things that I had to wear like a certain way or whatever. And my favorite things are bugging me. I'm literally going through my closet right now, cutting all the tags off of everything. Because, I mean, like this shirt here, literally, I've had this shirt for so long that my son, who's 42, he remembers this shirt as a child. That's how long I've had this shirt. So, all this time was this shirt bothering me, and I was so highly masked that I didn't realize it. Is that possible? That could be possible, because literally a lot of the things that I enjoy wearing are bugging me now, and I have to take the tags out. And I'm actually okay with that because, like I said, when I even think back to when I used to work years ago, like back in the 80s and 90s, I would have meltdowns at work. And now I understand that I had certain things that I was wearing back then that wasn't very comfortable, and I can pick up on it because they literally weren't comfortable. But I didn't know that that's what was causing me, my outbursts and everything like that. I mean, because why would I think that? Do other people have problems wearing clothes? Everybody else seemed to be wearing their clothes just fine. So if their clothes are bothering them, they're pretending that their clothes aren't bothering them. So I'm going to pretend like my clothes aren't bothering me, right? It's not working anymore, you guys. It's not working. And I'm not quite sure how to unpack that information. But my sensitivity issues are just crazy to the point where I wear these little wristbands all the time now when I do my hair, especially when I'm using this new water bottle because it drips water. I use them now to wash my face, which has been a game changer, you guys. If you have sensitivity issues with water running down your arms, changer. Love these. Absolute game changer. Other things that I'm noticing is just more light sensitivities. Like I used to wear sunglasses all the time, and then my sunglasses broke, I don't know, probably 10 years ago, and I never replaced them. And I've always been uncomfortable, driving out in the sun and everything like that. And so even now it's interesting, if I'm out driving during the day and I find myself just getting irritated at the traffic and the lights aren't synchronized, and why is that car up there weaving back and forth, and why is he going so fast, and he's too close to me over there in that lane, and what I now believe that I'm overloaded from all of this, the sun and the light sensitivities and the noise of cars and honking and all those other things and road noise. It all makes sense now because I'm like, why am I all of a sudden just melting down in the middle of driving somewhere to the point where now I need to just pull over and collect my thoughts, because that's exactly what happens. I literally have to pull over and get off the road because I feel like I'm losing my mind. And I never understood it. God, autism is weird. Along with other sensitivities I'm experiencing right now is massive, massive headaches. It's almost like, how do I explain this? It's almost like I've had a vice on my head that's been getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And then all of a sudden, somebody released it, and all of the pressure off of my brain is trying to figure out where it belongs, because it's all been shifted and swollen so long that it's trying to get back to where it needs to be and trying to move back to, move back, where it needs to be. And so I've had massive headaches, you guys. And I'm like, what the heck is that? I mean, I've had headaches most of my life and migraines and everything like that. And so now I'm beginning to wonder if the headaches were due to stress from being censored out and, over sensitized, hyper, I guess it is. And then to the point where I'm so stressed out that I'm just like, just trying to get through it, that maybe that's what's been causing my headaches. I don't know, but it makes sense to me. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Have you been living through burnout? What are you doing to get through it? I want to know. One of the other things I noticed right before the onset of my current burnout right now is I was filming something. It was a little fun thing on, what it looks like, for an elderly autistic, woman, studying and everything like that. My stimming was off the charts, and the thing about it was, now I kind of understand why, when I was in school, people thought, I was the weird girl, because if I was doing the type of stimming that I was doing in that video and I wasn't aware of it, I totally understand, you know, how I got that title, because it was a lot. The rocking back and forth, and even though I'm in burnout right now, I'm doing a little bit of masking right now just to keep my stimming under control. And being on my Adderall is helping, a little bit also. But I just took the band-aids off my fingers. I literally have been chewing and biting the skin around my fingers until the pain is unbearable and bleeding. And I have my thumbnail is trying to lift up off the nail bed again, and that's really painful. And I can't stop myself. And so I've been trying to, get my stimming under control. But when I notice my stimming increasing, like a lot of rocking, and that's why I kind of like sitting on the floor a little bit. It kind of helps because I have my legs out and kind of like braced. And so I still do a little bit of rocking. and things like that, but it's not as prominent as if I'm, like sitting, and then I can't shake my leg too because I'm constantly like shaking my legs, or doing this with my fingers, or doing this back and forth like that all the time. And I still do that, and I'm trying to get this under control because I've been doing this a lot lately, and realizing that it's becoming an outlet for me to just, and I'm looking at where you guys know me. I never know where to look because there's three of me. There's me, there's Dee Dee and Lizzie. So, they look where they want to look. And then, I get the leftovers. The thing that's been really challenging for me is just you know, trying to control the stimming. And I'm not trying to stop my stimming because I understand the importance of using it to self regulate. And I have a lot of things to self regulate right now. So I'm not trying to stop my stimming, but I'm trying to find, other ways to stem. Like I can't use them right now, but I've got like some, squeezy balls, and, I've got some, things that I can twirl and, fiddle around with, and, everything like that. And, just trying to replace destructive self-harm stemming with something a little more friendly, a little more, you know, a little more not so aggressive, and everything like that. And I'm trying to find different ways to, regulate my emotions and everything like that, because, now that I understand what's going on, and now that I understand more why I do the things I do, I'm trying to be kinder and gentler with myself, and, trying to let myself be who I need to be, but then also trying to, protect myself as well. And so I just took off all the band-aids. That's another reason why it took me, 2 weeks to get my hair done, because I needed to heal. I needed to heal the skin around my nails before I started, putting it in product and stuff like that. So right before the burnout happened, I definitely noticed, an increase in stemming and everything like that. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I really appreciate about being on camera and everything like that is being able to just, be aware of the things that are, you know, not an issue. I don't want to say that, but, being aware so I can gain more insight, and then thereby gaining more insight, being able to be kinder to myself. And then during that process, what can I do to regulate my emotions better? What can I do to help myself, to support myself during bouts of burnout and shutdowns and meltdowns and those sorts of things? That makes sense. Another new thing that I've noticed has been picking up is just staring more often to space. And I'm convincing myself that the reason I'm doing that right now is because I've just got so much on my mind that when something hits my mind that it wants to think about, I think it just automatically stops and like readjusts itself, and then sets itself up, for the information that it's looking for. And I kind of think that's what's going on a little bit. But yeah, I've noticed that I've been staring a little bit more lately too, as far as, my stem's increasing and everything like that. And so that's been kind of an interesting phenomenon. I've been stretching too. I mean, like, stretch, oh, and stretching my hands and my feet, and then, just stretching to the point of pain. I stretched my feet, bending them down, like, pointing my toes so hard that I popped a couple of bones in my left foot, and so now my left foot's really sore. And I don't know why I'm doing that stretching, but I mean, and then I'll do stuff like this, and I'll just stretch, 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 stretch until I can't stretch anymore. And that's something that's new. I don't ever remember doing that. And so, just noticing, all of these little strange, quirks and everything like that. And I've always been, and sorry to be graphic, but this is a safe space. I'm back to just chronic nose picking, and to the point where the inside of my nose is so sore, and I like to get in there and just rub. I don't like, dig or anything like that, but I'm constantly rubbing in there. And oh God, it's so painful sometimes that, that I can barely, it hurts to breathe out of my nose. I'm like, I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm trying to figure out a way to regulate these new emotions that I'm having, because being unmasked and unable to put the mask back up and having to like physically deal with these new things that I'm feeling, I'm not going to lie, it's overwhelming. And I'm still trying to figure out what it all means. Still trying to figure out what autism is. I'm still trying to figure out, why does this strange phenomenon of autism explain so much of my life? How did I not see it? How did I not know it? I guess because I didn't know any different. I mean, growing up black, you don't have like problems like that or anything like that. I was always just all the time, stop walking on your toes, stand up straight, put your hands down. We've talked about this before over and over and over again. All these things that I did as a child that literally I got beat out of me. Stop doing that, especially the walking and holding my hands and walking on my toes with my head forward. I still walk like that to this day because it's who I am. But when I tell you, it was tough as a kid, because my whole thing growing up was, they were bad habits. I was exhibiting bad habits, and I was a bad child, and I better straighten up. And don't you dare embarrass me in front of these white folks. Literally got the habits beat out of me because it was unacceptable, unallowed. It was not allowed in any way, shape, or form. So, as early as the age of 4, anything weird that I did that I would get in trouble for, I instantly learned I need to do something else. Because why? I'm not going back out to the backyard at the age of 4 to go get a switch so I can get my butt whipped because I won't stop rocking. I won't keep my hands down. I won't stop walking on my toes. I wouldn't stop having meltdowns. I understand now the meltdowns that I would have. Taking a bath. I screamed every time. And then add trauma on top of the trauma of taking the bath. Now I understand why. Because first off, I don't like taking baths to this day. I don't like sitting in water. I don't like sitting in it. And then it gets dirty. I knew at the age of 4 I didn't like that at all. And I was constantly like in meltdown mode because I was constantly overstimulated. Back to the Black community accepting autism, not in my household at all. And you know, I was forced to conform, is what it was. And the whole thing was, behave in a way that's not embarrassing, and definitely behave in a way, a certain way in front of white people. I didn't have the luxury of being me, and I didn't have the luxury of even knowing who I was, because every single thing about me was wrong, all of it. It's the most traumatic thing ever. I'm almost going to say that the trauma of not knowing who I am and the trauma of not being allowed to be who I was as a child, probably, I don't know, is this correct? Probably was more traumatic than the physical abuse and the childhood neglect and the verbal abuse, and all of the other abuses that go with that sort of thing. The fact of the matter is, all of those core things about me have always been there as long as I can remember. And I don't know very many people that have the attention to detail that I do as young as 3. I don't know people that have so much detail that they remember sitting in their high chair and what the high chair looked like, felt like, and smelled like. And so I'm going to say the most traumatic thing for me, growing up as a child with undiagnosed autism, was always feeling like somehow I was bad or wrong. You late diagnosed adults out there right now, if you're experiencing like burnout and those sorts of things, just know if you learn to mask as early as the age of 4, imagine what that feels like, and give yourself grace, because I mean, like for me, I have 60 years of trauma to unfold. And I'm not sitting in my trauma and I'm not being negative about my trauma, but I am revisiting it so I can have more understanding. And through that understanding comes awareness. And once you accept that awareness, and then it comes into you as insight, then you can make changes to navigate your life easier. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's my goal. I want to learn who I am from the beginning, re-embrace me, and then be able to move forward with this new unmasked self that has a new lease on life and a new way to be confident. I kind of like that. The fourth thing that I wanted to talk about on the burnout was burnout looks like depression, but it isn't. It is a completely different animal. It comes from a different place, okay? And so with my burnout, I have no patience. And so I have a very short fuse. My chronic pain is chronic paining off the charts. I have nerve damage in my feet. The pain is excruciating. I have knee pain. I broke a big toe. Everything in my body right now hurts, and I feel like I have knots everywhere in my body, and I'm uncomfortable. I have anxiety, but it's not an anxiety of like going out in public or anything like that. It's a different type of anxiety. It's the anxiety of the unknown, of self type anxiety. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to respond to myself and others while I'm in this burnout mode. I feel like I'm trapped in my body, literally. I'm telling you that, I have, Dee Dee over here, my ADHD, and Lizzie over here, my Autism Lizzie. And then there's me, Random Grannie, in the middle. I really mean that. I feel like I'm different people right now. And I feel like Dee Dee and Lizzie have always had conversations with each other. They've always known that they've been there, and they've always had my best interest, I think, at heart. But they stood back and just let me be me until I was ready to receive them. But I literally feel trapped in a body that I don't recognize right now. And Dee Dee and Lizzie, yeah, I had to name them, because that way I can explain to my husband what's going on. When there are weird things going on, I'll be like, well, Dee Dee's really impulsive right now, and blah, 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 blah. And these are some things that are going on with me. And I can explain myself now through these new personas. But I literally feel like I'm a different person. I'm different people. And I have to find a way to bring us together to live cohesively. I'm disconnected, and I can barely mask anymore. And I've talked about that too. But I really, really want you new autistics, especially you late diagnosed, my late diagnosed autistics out there, you really need to understand that it's everything. Once that mask comes off, once it's been broken and it's fallen off, you guys, you're not going to be able to put it back up there. You might be able to craft a new mask, because let's be honest, everybody masks to some extent. What's going to be different for us is we're not going to be able to put that original mask back up. Listen to me. Once that mask cracks and falls off, you cannot put it back on. It will be a different mask. Maybe new and improved, maybe not new and improved, maybe a mask that's just good enough to just get you by, get you through while you're learning about your new self. But just know that that's gonna happen. I hope me talking about all of these things, if you're experiencing any of these things, I hope it makes you feel a little less crazy, because some days I question my doses of reality that I'm trying to give myself, and I'm like, is this like really real, or is this like fake real? Is this like autistic real, or is this like I'm blowing things out of proportion real? Because that's still in there. Why are you blowing things out of proportion? Why are you so sensitive? Because we've heard it our whole lives, right? And we've said it to ourselves, and we believe our own bullshit, right? I believe my bullshit. I gaslight myself, and nobody believed me harder than I did. Well, as usual, I talked way too much, but I'm done with my hair. And so I want to end this video by, because I know it'll probably sound so overwhelming now. It's just like all over the place, but I do have a plan. And so I'm accepting the fact that I'm going to be going in and out of burnout probably over the next several years, because I do have 60 years of trauma to unfold from and to revisit and to absorb. And so I am going to be doing that. And then I've got a few things here I want to talk about. And so you guys will notice that when I'm on here doing my hair, I don't do hair videos. This is a way for me to keep my hands busy, because if my hands aren't busy, then other things start surfacing up, and you already see I'm already doing this, way more than I need to be. And so that's why I do my hair. So I just want to make that clear. This is not a hair video. I do my hair so we can do our hair together if that's something that you struggle with, as a body double. So I'm here with you and we can do our hair together. But my main reason for being here is to talk about being Black, elderly, and neurodivergent, autistic, and ADHD, and how that has affected me during my 64 years of life on this planet. With that said, with this current burnout that I'm going through, this is how I'm getting through it. I'm really starting to figure out, what my triggers are. What's triggering me? What sensory thing is triggering me? What thing? What word? Is it? Is it a place? Is it people? Is it food? Where are sensitivities coming from? Because I'm realizing that when the sensitivities get too much and all the sensory stuff, and it builds and builds and builds, and the overwhelm has nowhere to go, it comes out as anger. We know we're not angry. We know we're releasing the overwhelm. But to the casual public, it looks like anger. And so I'm working on that part first and foremost. What are my triggers? Because those are the things that cause me meltdowns in public, in the grocery store, at the mall, at the gas station, those sorts of public places when I'm having those meltdowns. Now that I understand it, I'm constantly on the look for triggers. Am I in sensory overload? As soon as I recognize I'm in sensory overload, I immediately want to try to step back and figure out what is going on so I can remove myself from that sensory object. Is it flashing lights, bright lights, noise, squeaking, popping, whatever it is? What's causing it, and is it elevating? And if it is, remove that thing or remove myself from that thing. I'm in a process right now where I'm eating all of my safe foods and all of my favorite things, which is why I'm getting a little chubby. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because after quitting smoking for a whole year now, almost a year, and going through all of these new feelings and everything like that, I'm allowing myself a few extra pounds. I'm not even going to worry about that, right? And so I'm eating all of my favorite foods right now and everything. And so I'm having my chips and my peanut butter pretzels. And, you know, I like things that are crunchy and salty and like, and I love spicy type things. I like foods that are loud, and I like foods that cater to my umami and to my palate. And so I've been eating those things, and that's been helping. I'm wearing comfy clothes, and like today I put this on. I've had it for over 20 years, but for some reason, like I said, it was bugging me. So, you know, I cut those tags off, and then I just keep it pushing. And so now I'm not apologizing for that. If something feels uncomfortable, I'm going to take it off and replace it, or I'm going to cut the tags. I'm going to do whatever it is necessary to make myself feel comfortable. I'm sleeping and taking as many naps as I want. If I get up at 6:30, and after I'm done with all of my morning routines at 7 o'clock, I go back to bed, and I'll sleep until 10 or 10:30. And if I feel like I need a nap in the afternoon between 2 and 4, I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take a nap, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm going to sleep as long as I want. I'm trying to find structure and routine that's not overwhelming. It's been really hard to get through my morning routines, and I've been at a place where I don't even want to do the routine. I'll let the dogs out. I'll literally stand in the kitchen. I'll be like, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to, but I have to, and I have to feed the dogs. I have to be a good pet parent, and I have to take care of my husband, and I have to take care of myself, right? So I have to push myself through the routine, but I'm adding things in to give myself a little bit of confidence. Adding these have helped. And so I wash my face more often, and I'm taking better care of my teeth because, quite honestly, my teeth are really bad right now. And I'm trying to do better with that. And so I'm trying to find simple, teeny tiny things that I can add to a routine to help me feel confident and help me feel like I've accomplished, you know, something, a little something, no matter how small, I accomplished it. And then the last thing of how I'm getting through it is just being kind to myself. And I haven't been very kind to myself. And I think that's wrong. And I think it's so easy for us that have been masking for so long to just be negative about who we are and about ourselves. Oh, you can't do that right, and you're always wrong, and you know you can't do this, or you're not confident, you're not you can't work, and you can't figure things out, and you can't do simple things. And we really need to stop that language with each other, with ourselves. I'm saying with each other because I'm thinking about Dee Dee and Lizzie and me as the third person out here. But, you know, just coming together with all of myself and getting to know who I am and, you know, just being nice and being kind. And so be kind to yourself as well. Because sometimes other people, they just aren't kind and they can't help it because, you know, they've got their own traumas that they're going through. They've got their own things that, you know, that they're trying to figure out too. And so I try not to judge people because you never know what's going on in their lives either. But we do know and we can understand what's going on in our lives, and we should be able to make that simple for ourselves, and it should be simple to love ourselves and to give ourselves grace. And so with that being said, I love you. I give you grace, and I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video.